Okay, so Oprah Winfrey and Stedman Graham just celebrated 40 years together. Wait, 40 years? That's longer than most people's entire careers. And yet, here's this couple who've been in the public eye for decades, but you almost never see them as a couple anymore. Why is that? Let's unpack this because there's way more going on than just a romantic milestone. First off, why even bring this up now? They're not just any couple, they're a cultural institution. Oprah built an entire media empire while navigating a relationship under relentless scrutiny. And Stedman? He's not just Oprah's boyfriend, he's a successful businessman and author who's chosen to stay in the background. That's rare in Hollywood. Most people would milk that kind of connection for every ounce of fame, but they've done the opposite. Personally, I think that's what makes their dynamic so fascinating. It's a masterclass in balancing personal happiness with public expectations. Let's talk about the 40-year thing. Most relationships today don't even last 40 months. So what's their secret? Well, they're not married. Wait, this isn't some modern open relationship trope. They called off their engagement in 1993, and Oprah later wrote that she realized she didn't actually want marriage. Now, that's a bold statement from someone who's essentially the queen of self-actualization. She admitted she wanted to be asked, to feel worthy, but didn't want the sacrifices marriage would demand. That's such a raw, human confession. What does it say about how we equate proposals with validation? I mean, how many people stay in toxic relationships because they're clinging to that outdated idea of proving worth through marriage? Oprah's choice flips the script on that pressure. And Stedman? He's not just tagging along. The guy has his own company, speaks publicly, writes books, yet he's chosen to let Oprah be the sun in their orbit. That's not subservience, it's partnership. When he told Ellen, "I'm dedicated to her happiness," it wasn't codependency, it was clarity. He's built his own life around supporting hers without losing himself in the process. That's the opposite of what tabloids would have you believe. They thrive on drama, but this couple's strategy is so simple it's radical: control your narrative by refusing to give them fuel. Oprah said Maya Angelou told her, "They're just trying to sell stories." That's brutal honesty. So they stopped appearing together. It's not about hiding, it's about prioritizing peace over clicks. Here's what this really highlights: the difference between visibility and validation. In an era where Instagram engagements and TikTok weddings define relationship success, Oprah and Stedman have chosen substance over spectacle. They're proof that longevity isn't about grand gestures but quiet, consistent choices. What many people don't realize is that their low-key approach isn't a weakness, it's a power move. By not letting media narratives define them, they've created a relationship on their own terms. That's a radical act in 2024. So here's the deeper question: why do we still default to marriage and public displays as the gold standard for love? Oprah's net worth is $2.5 billion, but she said her greatest achievement is her 40-year relationship. Yet even she had to step back from the spotlight to protect it. What does that say about the cost of fame versus the cost of intimacy? And what if the real lesson here is that the healthiest relationships aren't the ones we see, they're the ones that survive precisely because they're shielded from the noise? I'll leave you with this: if you're single, married, partnered, or figuring it out, maybe the takeaway isn't how to last 40 years, it's how to design a relationship that serves you, not the audience. Because at the end of the day, Stedman's happiness and Oprah's empire aren't mutually exclusive. They're two sides of the same coin. And that's a narrative no tabloid can ever rewrite.